Well, no, I'm not going to get the DJI Action 6. Because like you, I spent the entire morning watching all of these release videos today, even though it did get released a week ago in China, and I'll kind of circle back on that in a moment. But I spent all morning watching all the shill videos. And when I say shill, don't get me wrong, you know, these are paid commercials that they send out to, they send a camera out to all of these YouTubers and they pay them to make a launch video, make a launch commercial. Very little of them talked about anything negative about this. And there's a guy on YouTube called Hill Phantom. He's over there in Shenzhen right now, China, and he purchased his Action 6 a couple days ago. He's impressed with it so far, but he's not releasing a video today on launch day because he doesn't want to be one of those people. He actually wants to put it through some testing, which I commend him for. And I'm going to go ahead and wait and see what his review process is of this Action 6 and what his real thoughts are, because he's kind of like me. He just calls it like it is. I mean, I threw the Action 3 under the bus for its out of focus issue, and there was so many DJI fanboys that were attacking me left and right. And guess what? It was out of focus. Did they fix it with the Action 4? Yeah, the Action 4, great action camera. The Action 5 Pro, it's got its qualities, and it's got its advantages and some really cool features, but it does have some issues with exposure flickering or jumping around, and it can't seem to figure out what the exposure is supposed to be. And, you know, but anyway, let's talk about the Action 6. And first off for me is going to be 4K. And I know you're probably thinking, come on, 4K. 4K is great. With all the review videos that I saw this morning, side by side, the Action 6 versus the Action 5 Pro in daylight conditions outside, they looked identical. I didn't see a quality difference at all. Now keep in mind that's with YouTube compression and all that, but I mean, I tried to pixel peep it big time and I didn't see a difference in image quality. So for me, it's like, why with this new sensor, it's a 1/1.1 inch square sensor, why is it not 8K? Considering that it has the ability to do a 2x zoom that's lossless. So like the Ace Pro 2, you can do a 2x zoom that's lossless. Why? Because it's an 8K sensor and it can record 8K, the Ace Pro 2 can. And that's how you can still get a 2x zoom and have a 4K image that's hasn't lost any quality at all. And I want you to hear me out when it comes to this 8K thing, because, you know, years ago people said, you don't need 4K. 4K is just, it's too hard on my computer and this and that. Yeah, okay. Well, now here we are, and higher resolution is a factor to think about. Now, 8K. Let's look at Insta360 for a second, okay? The Insta360 Ace, the non-pro version, can shoot 6K at 30 frames per second. The Ace Pro 1 can shoot 8K at 24 frames per second. The Ace Pro 2 can shoot 8K at 30 frames per second. And yes, it is a true 6K on the non-pro and a true 8K on the Ace Pro 1 and Ace Pro 2. And I don't have any overheating problems with the Ace Pro 2 shooting 8K. So, you know, what's the deal with not offering 8K? Don't know, but we'll get on to the next portion here, because all these people are talking about open gate. Open gate, open gate, open gate. Like DJI reinvented the wheel when it came to action cameras and offering open gate. Well, this is what the open gate looks like. Yeah, you see these little squares over here that there's no image? That's the open gate. So yeah, you've got this portion here that you can move around up and down for 16:9, so you can get a little bit more headroom or less headroom. Same thing for 9:16 vertical stuff. You can go left and right on it. That's all great, but they're not the ones that actually started that. Let's not forget that it was GoPro back in 2022 with the GoPro Hero 11 Black that gave you the ability to shoot the entire sensor and then crop it in post and do whatever that you wanted to do. So that's not something new. And remember, with the GoPro, you were shooting at 5.3K instead of 4K. And when you think about, like, you know, okay, editing and post. Well, first off, I want to say, let's not forget that phrase, shoot for the edit. So what I mean by that is, if you're going to shoot a horizontal scene, you shoot this way. if you're going to shoot a vertical scene, you shoot this way. And I can understand a lot of people are going to say, well, hang on a second. I want to take my existing video, take a clip out of it, and put it up on social media, and I want it to be 9:16, but I actually shot it in 16:9. Well, if it's a 4K image, because most people, they upload their 9:16 content in 1080p, whether it's to Facebook Reels or to YouTube Shorts or Instagram or TikTok, you kind of get what I'm saying here. But you're taking a 4K image, so if you change your sequence settings to 1080p by 1920, and it's a 4K image, and you scale it into that, you still got great 4K quality on a 1080p timeline. So it's a little bit gimmicky. It's a little bit gimmicky in my opinion. Now there's all this talk about this new large sensor. It's a 1/1.1 inch sensor. Okay, well, let's compare the 1/1.1 inch sensor compared to the Action 5 sensor and the DJI Pocket 3 sensor being a 1-inch type. By the way, 1-inch type doesn't mean it's a true 1 inch. They call it a 1-inch type because it's pretty close to 1 inch. But if you look here, there's a massive difference in sensor size. Now, the 1/1.1 inch does have a little bit more vertical height to it, but when you're looking at 16:9, it's the exact same surface area, 16:9. That's what's on the DJI Action 5 Pro. So there's not a difference there. Look how much of that sensor space is actually being discarded, not being used for the 16:9. Now, something else to talk about. Okay, well, the Action 6, it does have a variable aperture. It goes from f2 to f4, so you do have that range. So in a really bright scene, if you look at like the Action 4 or the Action 5 Pro, and it has a 2.8 aperture lens on it. And if you are outside in really bright sunny conditions with the Action 6, yeah, I can see where that being able to stop it down to an f4 will take care of a lot of exposure issues, and it gives you a little bit more distance as far as this field of focus. Now, f2. Okay, f2, wider aperture, opens up a lot more light hits the lens. But from what I've seen of the review videos in low light, the f2 versus f2.8, which is supposed to be, by the way, theoretically, 2 times as bright. 2 times more light is supposed to be able to enter in and hit that sensor. I don't see 2 times more light or cleanliness. I really don't. I mean, there was one instance with one YouTuber that actually used the Ace or the Action 4 and used it in a low light comparison compared to the Action 5 Pro and this Action 6. And the 4 actually looked really good because the darks were not full of grain where they were trying to light up the black background so much that so much grain was introduced. So that's another reason for me. Yeah, it's a nifty little thing, but I have to wonder with these, that lens that you can get with it that's optional, or the macro lens, how quickly are those going to sell out? And you're going to buy the camera, and then you're going to wait around for lenses for maybe what, 4, 6 months? Yeah, that's kind of a con to me. And I know that some people may say, okay, well, back to this 8K thing. People may not want to shoot in 8K because, or DJI didn't offer it because it's going to develop a lot of heat. Because yeah, shooting at 4K develops a certain amount of heat. Shooting 8K develops a lot more heat in the camera. And I can tell you, like the Ace Pro 2 shooting at 8K, it gets toasty warm. It just doesn't shut off, but it gets toasty warm, warmer than what it would be at 4K. But if that's an issue that DJI is like, you know what, we have the capability with the sensor to shoot 8K, but we're not going to offer it because a lot of people will complain about it overheating. Well, you know what, then you simply put a disclaimer up saying you can shoot 8K, 30 frames per second. Anything after 10-15 minutes, the camera may give you an overheat warning and shut off right after that. Put that up. I mean, I've shot 8K before. I've shot a lot of 8K with the Ace Pro 2, and I can tell you that I have not experienced an issue where I'm shooting 8K all day. I'm not. There's very specific scenes that I'll shoot at 8K with. Otherwise, I don't have to worry about it overheating. So I think that the image sensor in the Action 6 is capable of 8K, but why they didn't offer it, I don't know. But this next part may be a little bit more telling. Yeah, there's a little rumor going around that DJI is going to release another camera. And I'm not talking about the Pocket 4. I'm talking about another Pro version, but it won't be the 6 Pro. It'll be the 7 Pro. And the 7 Pro will offer 6K or 8K at 30 frames per second. And that may be a little bit problematic for some people. Now, hopefully, this rumor is just nothing more than that. It's just a rumor. You know, part of the rumor I heard was before the end of this year, which would piss a lot of people off that just bought the 6 to find out that there's a 7 Pro. Or maybe called a 6 Pro, but I think it's going to be a 7 Pro because you had the Action 3, you had the Action 4, and then you had the Action 5 Pro. They didn't make a 4 Pro, they made a 5 Pro. Now they've got the Action 6, so to me, logic tells me it's going to be a 7 Pro that they're going to release. One of the rumored timelines that I heard was going to be early in the year, 2026, or mid-year. But either way, here it is, you know, middle of November, and we're talking about possibly, if you buy an Action 6, there may be a Pro version 7 coming out in a matter of 4 or 6 months from now. Are you going to feel a little bit boogered by that? And another thing to think about is DJI. If they do release a 7 Pro, or let's say they even call it a 6 Pro before the end of this year, for the professionals out there, keep in mind that there's a very high possibility that DJI products will not be allowed to be sold in the US come January 1st, 2026. And it's not just going to be drones. It's DJI, the companies, being labeled as whatever it is that the government's going to label it as. But they're saying that they're a part of the Chinese military. And a lot of the intellectual property is part of the Chinese military. And I know that DJI, and I do like DJI products. I do love my drones. If there's one thing I am stocking up on, since I'm not going to buy the 6, I am stocking up on my drone batteries. And with authentic DJI drone batteries, because if all this does happen, and it's looking very likely that it's going to happen, that DJI is not going to be able to work within the United States with any of their products, then there's going to be a lot of consumers out there that are a little bit foobarred. Well, will it be DJI using their new shell company, that extra company that has the Extra Edge Pro, which is basically a DJI Action 5 Pro? Will they use it to release some cameras like they did with the Extra Muse, which is a Pocket 3 clone? I don't know. But then again, you have to think, if DJI gets banned in December, how long is it going to be before the US government figures out that, oh, this is a shell company, we're going to shut them down too? And yes, there may be some other companies that kind of pop up, but it just makes you kind of wonder what's going to happen on that avenue of it. But regarding the Action 6, I'm not that impressed. Like I said, I watched all these videos this morning, and I watched the Chinese videos, and it looks nice. I can see potential. I would say do like a lot of people really should, and like what Hill Phantom does. Just sit back and wait. Let the honest reviewers, and when I say honest, I'm not saying that these big YouTubers are not honest, but they're being paid to make a commercial. They're not paid to deep dive into a product and rip it apart and talk about all of its pros and all of its cons. They'll kind of just touch on a couple of cons or wish lists, but that's it. But wait for the people that actually go out and go buy it with their own money. Every one of my DJI product reviews that I've done, I purchased with my own money because I do like their products. But then again, I'm not going to buy a product just to review it and not use it. If I'm going to have a product, I want to be able to use it. If it has problems, I'm the first one to call it out. And I don't like returning stuff. But if I'm not going to use the camera, and I look at the Action 6, and I look at its capabilities, and I try to have a positive mindset about the Action 6, I don't see using it anymore. It's not like I would reach over and grab it over the Action 5 Pro or the Action 4 or the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. I don't look at it like, okay, I'm going to reach for that first. And if it's not a camera that I'm going to use, I don't feel like I need to buy it. And I know I put up a poll for everybody that was, you know, would you like to see me review it? And a lot of people said yes, that they would like for me to review it. I'm sorry, at this moment in time, I'm not going to. But if anything, I would say watch or go to Hill Phantom's channel, subscribe to his channel. He's one of the few people that I trust their reviews. So when he reviews a product, it's not shilling it at all. He calls it like it is. If it's got pros, he calls it out. If it's got cons, he calls it out. And watch reviews like that from Hill Phantom, from all these other people who actually purchase this stuff with their own money and give you an honest review. They don't give you clickbaity titles and all that. That is so played out. And I know I'm kind of getting onto a rant here, but it's really a shame because YouTube, when it comes to these reviews, it's turned into shill central, clickbait central, look at me, attention whore central. And it's a shame because for the consumers that actually go to YouTube that want an honest review, not this BS, not this hype to say, okay, well, I still want Insta360 to send me products. I still want Extra to send me products. I still want Viltrox to send me products. Call it out. Call it out like it is, because if you're a YouTuber, it's your responsibility to give the consumer a true, honest opinion because they're spending money. Forget about your affiliate links and you're going to make some commission off of it. Think about your reputation. So anyway, God, that kind of went a little bit longer than what I planned on it to. So either way, let me know down in the comment section below. What do you think about the Action 6? Did you like what you saw? Do you want to get one? Or did you already order one? Or if you already have it in your hands, do you like it? Do you like it enough? Anyway, that's it for me. I hope you guys have yourself a great day, and I'll catch you in the next review. Bye-bye.